Right, so guys, we're gonna go into our predictions right now. What an incredible season so far! Only 5 games, and the results have always been shocking, and I don't expect anything less as we go into the Premier League weekend. We're gonna be starting the Premiership this weekend. We've got some exciting games. Everton play Liverpool, starting off the weekend games. And then we've got some 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got Tottenham versus Fulham, which is also a London derby. There's also a Chelsea playing West Ham, another London derby as well. Perhaps Chelsea would have some shooting boots and maybe get some form back in that game. Then you've got Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. Nottingham Forest will feel like they can begin to maybe get back into some rhythm after some very difficult games. Brentford play Leeds United, and Wolves play Southampton. Southampton will be feeling very, very good with themselves after that win against Chelsea. And then we've got Newcastle playing against Crystal Palace. Now, that's a game that I'm really looking forward to see because I think there's some very good players. And I think, Isak has started very well. Very unlucky Newcastle against Liverpool. I expect them to be very, very to bounce back, in that game. And then we've got Aston Villa playing Man City. Can anyone say a prayer for the Aston Villa defenders because they
Oh
are
God.
in for quite a show with Man City. Can anyone stop Haaland? Will he make it 3 games, 3 hat-tricks? That will be something we'll be looking forward to see. And then on Sunday, we've got Brighton playing Leicester City. And then, of course, Arsenal make the long trip to Old Trafford to play their arch enemies, Man United. So, guys, we've got 3 predictions that we're going to be doing again as usual. So let's start off with the Merseyside derby. Everton playing host to Liverpool. Kali, how do you see this going? Do you think Everton have a prayer?
It's gonna be a tough one. So it's a Merseyside derby, and I want to believe that both teams, whatever form they might have been since the season started, wouldn't be the same way we're going to see them when the game itself comes on. You look at the sides in recent years, Liverpool have had an upper hand, and that's you look at the quality of the Liverpool side over the last 3, 4, 5 years. They've been contenders for the title. They've won the title in that period. They've won the Champions League in that period. They've brought in a lot of good signings. They've let go a lot of players. So the way the team have grown in the last 3, 4, 5 years explains the dominance Liverpool has had over Everton over the last few years. But then you look at Everton on the other hand, I won't really say in the last 3 years there's been notable progress in the side. Frank Lampard has come into the side for a couple of years, and he's not really. I don't think he's really brought any major. What will I say? He's not added anything to the club in any way. I feel at the end of last season, I was hoping that if the Everton board are a serious group, they will have let him go, gotten a more experienced manager, to saddle this to sail the ship for them. But that said, you know how these things can be. There's still a few players in that Everton side who understand what the Merseyside derby is all about and how it's so much of a bragging right. But knowing what the Merseyside derby is has not been of immense help to them in recent years. So I think it's going to be. But then again, I won't totally ignore Liverpool's form. I won't totally ignore Liverpool's form because Liverpool haven't really been firing on all cylinder. They needed a late equal goal, a late goal to get a victory over Newcastle United. Although we know Newcastle United this season, they've been a totally different team from what we've known them to be. So it's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a tough one. But Liverpool, I see them winning this one again. And that's just because Everton haven't really, been that kind of a club that oozes all kinds of confidence. In my opinion, I think they are in the race for the top 10. They are one of the weakest sides. That's talking about Everton. Going into that, we saw how they struggled last season. Have they really signed well? I do not think so. I think what Lampard has done is just sign everybody that is available. in the market, sign whoever it is he feels he can lay his hands on in the market, but not really a player or any player that can take their season around. The new boy has already started scoring for them, but up against a Van Dijk, and whoever partners with him alongside with the other two guys flanking them, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then Fabinho back in the Liverpool side. I don't see a way Liverpool will win this one. Everton will win this one. I think it's still going to be a Liverpool victory for at the end of the day.
So what's your spread prediction? What score?
I think we're going to see Liverpool win this one 3-1.
3-1. FaZe, how do you see this going? What's your prediction? Everton, Liverpool.
This has always been a joy for Liverpool for over the years. In fact, I think for the last decade, I don't think Everton has beaten Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. It's actually, for me, I think it's just one way. This can only go one way. And
Salah hat-trick.
No, I don't know if Salah will get a hat-trick, but the signs are out there that it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think from the euphoria of the late victory of the match against Newcastle, where they were fortunate to get a last kick victory, I think they will take it to Everton, and at the end of the day, they are going to win that match. Lampard, has he really, like Kali said, he has not really added anything meaningful to that team. And I said it last season, I don't think he's a man for them. I think they need to get somebody else who will build, because they bought some players and they have a decent squad somehow, and I think they should get a manager to harness those squad. Luckily for them, Gordon is staying despite all the attention around him. I think finally they were able to tie him down, and he's scoring. He has been scoring, and I know last recording I castigated it will be, but I saw the beautiful pass he gave to Gordon midweek. But against Liverpool, I don't see them winning that match, and I think the Liverpool's quality at the end of the day will overwhelm Everton. I see a 2-0 victory. It's because it's at Everton. I see a 2-0 victory in that match.
So I think we're all in agreement. I do feel like Everton's going to put up a fight, especially in the first half. And, and Gordon, I think it'll be a boost for Everton that they can retain. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Liverpool. Let's look at a London derby, Chelsea West Ham. And this game, promises to be an unpredictable game, only because we just don't know what Chelsea is going to turn up in any Premier League game. And West Ham, have been keeping games very, very close in the last couple of results. So I'm going to start with you, FaZe. Chelsea playing at home at the Bridge to West Ham. What's your prediction for this game?
This is going to be a very tough match. West Ham actually showed us they still have some flashes of last season. And I think gradually they're beginning to find their form. And Chelsea is going to find it very difficult also. And, like we said earlier, there is really something wrong with Chelsea. That team is not settled, and a whole lot of, and I think it's going to show also against West Ham. West Ham is going to go very physical. They're going to go very physical against Chelsea, and I see them taking advantage of the shaky midfield of Chelsea. They're going to go very physical in that midfield, and they're going to use long balls and set pieces, and at the end of the day, I think Chelsea will struggle. I see a defeat for Chelsea in that match, seriously. Wow, I think West Ham will take it, and I'm predicting 2-1 for West Ham.
2-1 to West Ham. And yes. Ali, do you expect Chelsea to bounce back after the defeat against Southampton, against West Ham.
So the thing about them bouncing back or not happens to for me, it's more about Tuchel's body language. One, the way he's deployed his team. You know, I think Tuchel himself doesn't really have a lot of faith in his team. You know, he
I
was saying
said
at
it
the end of the
before.
game that
I actually
you
told
know it
them
was
before.
he was saying at the end of the game, he was saying stuff like it doesn't take a lot for them to be beaten, you know, and all of that. You know, sometimes as managers, you know, the attitude, the level of confidence you have translates to your players, your team, and how they perform. And Tuchel is totally looking like a man who is not very confident right now in whatever is going on at the club, whatever he has at the moment. He's a lucky man that Abramovich is not in charge. He would have been fired. You know, he's a very lucky man that Abramovich is there. You know, the new manager is there. He's just watching things from afar, not interfering with anything. You know, but to the football itself, there's a whole lot of problems around this the Chelsea squad. The first team, Tuchel doesn't look like a man who is sure of his first team, so he keeps altering players here and there, but he's kept faith with Kai Havertz. And I said something, Timo Werner, wherever he's gone to right now, he has played, I think 3 games, he scored 4 goals already. He has 2 assists already. Then anybody can say, oh, is that league or whatever. But you know what? He's scoring goals, you know. And I feel it's too much arrogance, letting go of Lukaku and Timo Werner and leaving Kai Havertz in the side. Kai Havertz is misfiring and you're sticking to Kai Havertz and you're not rushing into the market to buy any notable striker. The only striker that Chelsea are going out to the market to buy is Aubameyang. And Aubameyang, we know he had issues with robbery, armed robbers, you know, attacked him and his family just over the weekend, last weekend. He has a broken jaw, he can't play anytime soon. So the problem is going to persist. You can't score goals. But look at West Ham against Tottenham Hotspur in the last game. The defensive solidity we saw in there is coming back gradually. You know, we're seeing them a lot more organized. The goal that Tottenham scored in that game was an own goal. So Tottenham couldn't get a goal. Harry Kane couldn't find a way past the Ogbonna and the rest of them at the back for West Ham United. You know, Son couldn't perform his magic. Kulusevski, who's had a very good start to the season, couldn't create any opening for Tottenham Hotspur. And then you ask yourself, is it this same team that this misfiring Chelsea will come and open apart? Now, no 2 games are the same. I totally understand that no 2 games are the same. But the stability, the defensive solidity that West Ham have shown against Tottenham Hotspur and the way they play, they put together that performance again against Tottenham against Chelsea. I don't see how Chelsea is going to win that game. And then you have Paqueta, who came into the side. He's got flashes of brilliance in him. That guy is going to be, when he settles, he is going to be something that defenders across the Premier League will have to pay attention to. Antonio was bullying the Tottenham Hotspur defense at will, and he's going to come down and get off his car. Diego Fornells is there somewhere. Declan Rice is doing his thing quietly. I think they're going to be very physical against Chelsea. And can Chelsea handle this physicality that West Ham will bring, you know, to the game? I think Chelsea will struggle because it's a London derby. It's going to be, you know, very tough, very close, just like the West Ham Tottenham game. But I think West Ham will take something from this game. Maybe a draw. But Chelsea is never going to. Maybe Chelsea is not going to win this one.
So you're going with
I see a score draw. I see them playing 1-1.
1-1 draw. Do you know what? I've listened to what you're saying, and I do agree with you. I look at that West Ham team, and they are regaining some of that confidence back. You know, that Paqueta or Paqueta.
Paqueta, yeah.
I think he's going to be a quality player. He does need to watch, you know, yellow cards and things like that, you know, because that's going to be a derby and be fiercely contested. But I feel like the Chelsea defense lacks a lot of pace. And if Antonio runs at them, at pace, I think it's going to cause some problem. So I'm actually, going to go with a draw as well. I think that's going to end up as a 2-2 draw, in that game. Arsenal travel to Old Trafford to play Man United. Now, traditionally, this is not a game that always works in Arsenal's favor. No matter the form that they are in, when they go to Old Trafford, it always seems like they cannot pull it together. Would this be the year that Arsenal goes to Old Trafford and come back with a victory, or would it be same old Arsenal at Old Trafford? So I'm going to start with you, Kali, on this one. How do you see this going? Arsenal to get the victory, or same old Arsenal at the Old Trafford?
You see, as an Arsenal fan, I'm very, very confident with what Arsenal is doing right now, with what Mikel is doing with the team. I've been confident from day one, from the moment he got into the team and his first few business in the team, how he dealt with the Ozil matter. And I know so many people didn't see the positives in that, but I'm happy that as at this season, he's kept a lot of fans quiet. A lot of the Arteta out brigade has kept them quiet, and it has to do with. And I'm not throwing shit. I'm just speaking on facts, right? One of the things he's done is the mentality in the club needed to change, and beyond the kind of football they are playing, their attitude has changed. Now, the game against Aston Villa is a kind of game we used to lose. You're playing a tough game and then you suddenly concede a crazy goal and the heads drop and players are strolling around the pitch. You see Aubameyang refusing to track back, Ozil, just strolling around the pitch like the prima donna that he is and all of that. But this time, Arsenal concedes a goal, the entire team keeps fighting, everybody keeps running. The other day, Saliba scored an own goal, and everybody immediately, told him, dude, there's still some work to do. Keep your head up. Let's run at these guys. And eventually, we won the game. The same thing happened with Gabriel. Considered, made an error that led to a goal. Everybody immediately pushed him up, and everybody pushed forward, and we got a goal. The game against Aston Villa, tough game. The game against Fulham, tough game. What has changed is not so much about the style of football, but the attitude. The attitude that, yes, we've considered a goal, but we still have a few minutes and we can get the goal back. We can cancel that goal. We can fight. The first time in a long time at the Fulham game that Arsenal will go goalless at halftime and come back to win the game. That mentality, that attitude to the game, and Arteta's game management is changing. A lot of people don't understand this. Last season, when Arsenal lost to Manchester City at the Emirates Stadium, and the manager Pep Guardiola came out to say a lot of things about Arsenal, that Arteta is a great coach. He understands Arteta. He saw what Arteta was doing. They were lucky to have won that game, and he's happy with that victory. And he has learned some things. Go back and watch Pep Guardiola's last the immediate 4 games after that loss. It deployed the same exact thing that Arteta did in that game. And a lot of people don't understand. You have to have a very, very close, very keen football eye to understand a lot of the little things that Arteta is doing here and there. 1-0, Arteta realized that, okay, we couldn't score more goals against Aston Villa, even though they kept creating chances and all of that. And we saw the way Aston Villa got a goal, the equalizer at first, before we now went back ahead. What did they do? They started building blocks, brought in the likes of Holding, brought in more bodies in the midfield, decide to, as opposed to the free-flowing, throw the balls to the wing or try to play through the middle, let's block everywhere up. We'll still retain possession with the like of Smith Rowe and Nketiah coming in, but at the same time, we're putting a lot of bodies, in the middle and at the back, and it's been pragmatic, not believing that you are super better than every other team, you can keep the ball but better than every other thing, and you can run at them. Now, against the Manchester United defense, if Arsenal had the luxury of Partey, Zinchenko, and everybody in, I'll tell you closely that game will end in the first 45 minutes. Arsenal will beat United silly. I'll say that clearly. But we've seen injuries to key players. But then it's not all terrible. It's not all terrible. Elanga and Sancho will give us a lot of problems. Will give the Arsenal team a lot of problems. Tomiyasu is coming to the side, or maybe Ben White, whoever plays that game. But Ben White has been, for me, Arsenal's best player in their last 3 games. He's been absolutely outstanding, playing in the right fullback position. He's grown into, crossing, playing useful balls into the box, and he now runs in around the box. So I think with all of this, with all the lightweight in, Casemiro, we're going to see Casemiro start, and that's what's going to be a big plus for Manchester United. But be that as it may, I see Arsenal running away with a narrow victory at Old Trafford. We've not seen it in a long time. We're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a bit more comfortable than anybody expects, because Arsenal, in terms of scoreline, is going to be tight. But in terms of play, Arsenal will boss possession, will create a lot of chances, and we're going to see Jesus score in that game, and we're going to see Arsenal totally dominate them. The game is going to end in 2-1. That game is going to end 2-1. But 2-1. The goal score, the goals is going to be tight, but the play itself, it won't be that tight.
Wow, what I'm loving what I'm hearing, Faith. So Arsenal to win 2-1 according to Kali at Old Trafford. What say you?
Yes, I'm actually doing the same scoreline. Arsenal is going to win that game, 2-1, because and it's going to be tight, like Ali said. Why? Because Man U is gradually picking up form, and they're beginning to believe in Ten Hag. Winning 2 games on the roll is a whole lot of confidence booster. And I think gradually they're beginning to understand each other. Fernandes, Rashford, Sancho, and Elanga in that front 4 attack, they're beginning to understand each other. And with the changes he has made in his midfield, dropping the likes of Maguire and not starting Ronaldo and the Fred also. So you could say the new guys wants to prove a point, and gradually they're beginning to believe that, okay, I have the chance to prove my point, and they are making a difference. And gradually, for the old Man U would have lost the match away, they won 1-0. So you could see is that belief. Yes, against Southampton, they would have lost. And we know Southampton is actually in form. Southampton has been matching almost everybody they met. So for Man U to win away, it tells a lot. A lot of people will not give them credit for that win. They didn't play well, but they won, which shows, grit and determination. So against Arsenal, which traditionally we are rivals, whether we look at it, though I know we are no longer at the top 2 rivals, the way how big this match is to be, but we are still rivals, and like we've not really had, unlike Chelsea, where we dominated Chelsea in recent time when we meet them, but Man U, I don't know what happens, even when we're in the best of form and Man U is the worst of form. Either the best we get is draw or they beat us. So it has always been funny. So I think this time around, despite the fact that Partey is not there, but I think Tierney will cover. Zinchenko is not bad. I think Tierney is a good cover, which is almost at the same par. I think for me, we are going to ice that match, and I'm still throwing that 2-1 victory. Like Ali said, I see Sancho and Elanga having, Martinelli and Saka. I think Saka should be benched in this match, really. For me, that's what I feel. Saka should be benched because those 2 guys are going to run at our flanks, and we actually need somebody that will be very mobile, that will be dropping into assist and also pushing in the attack. So while we attack them, I need somebody that also will always assist the defense, because Man U always want to sit back and go on counter, because that is the only way they could match this Arsenal team, because we're going to control the ball, we're going to dictate the play. Their best bet is to go on the counter, and if they're going to go, they're going to use those flanks for their counter. So we actually need those guys that will always fall back and assist the defense. For me, I think the match will end 2-1. And that's my prediction.
So every week, as usual, I always have a short prediction. for the game. So except this week, because I am in total agreement with all of you. I'm actually not very concerned about Elanga and Rashford, because I consider Eze and Zaha to be better than those two, right now, and we dealt with them comfortably.
But remember, we had Partey in that middle.
We had Partey, but Ben White, confidently dealt with with Zaha in that game. So I don't.
You remember they complement each other. They complement each other.
I get it.
I get one person makes the team gets unbalanced.
I get that, and I thought Sambi did a good job against Aston Villa. He created some very, very good passing lanes and delivered the ball with accuracy. So, and I know that Man United don't really have a midfielder. Casemiro is going to come in. Will Anthony start the game? I don't know. I feel that, right now, the way that we play in Arsenal, I think tactically, just gives us a little bit of the edge. So I'm actually going to go for a 3-1 scoreline against Man United. Yes, at Old Trafford. I feel that the last 3 games in the first half, the amount of chances that we've been creating against opposition, doesn't matter the opposition. I think that, with a shaky United defense, I'm going to say that Arsenal is going to have an extra incentive. At the start of the season, I said that we're going to be doing a revenge tour, around that.
Yeah, I remember you said so.
That gave us problems last season, and I feel like the boys are going to feel like they have something to prove in this game, so they are going to be relentless from the word go. So I'm actually going to go for a 3-1 victory to Arsenal.
Another thing I'm thinking is this: a lot of the players know that this is the game where, I know so many pundits, so many people are thinking, oh, who have they played? They've really not played any of the top big, the traditional big 6. And all of that. And so this is going to be the real major test. If they fail at this point, it will look like, oh, we've just been fooling ourselves. We've just been fooling around, and this is the real major test. And the kind of hunger, the kind of attitude, the kind of united front I see in this team, it's a team that wants to prove everybody wrong. It's a team that wants to achieve something. And winning games like this is going to be like the first big step to telling themselves that, okay, you know what, we can take on the big boys. If they lose this game, it's going to almost be like, it's going to build some sort of doubt in them, like, okay, maybe we're not just there yet, maybe we're not just ready yet, but winning this game will give them all the confidence to go up, especially because of what is coming in October. They need to win this game amongst all the games in September, and then go into October where they're going to play against Manchester City, Liverpool, and Tottenham Hotspur in the same month. In the same month. So it's the kind of game that they want to use to make a proper statement that if you're not taking us seriously before now, it's time to take us seriously. And the celebration police, they should watch out, because we are gonna celebrate again at Old Trafford. You saw what the boys did after the game against Everton. They threw fireworks and all of that. We're coming with more at Old Trafford.
I love that response. And celebration police are going to have a lot of work to do this season, because there will be so much celebration for them to talk about.